Hello, this video is here to give you a few extra tips about tuning up your fiddle. If you've been watching part 1 of our beginner's fiddle course and you've heard me talking about using these fine tuners and you're still having a few problems, hopefully this might help. So like I say in the first video, get a grown-up to help you with tuning up your fiddle, or if you are a grown-up then keep watching and hopefully this might help. So in the first video I talked about using these fine tuners to make our notes get in tune. If you turn the fine tuner to the right, the note will go higher or sharper. And if you turn it to the left, the note will go lower or flatter. If you've tried that and you've still not got the note we want, we need a G, a D, an A and an E, and you've got your chromatic tuning app or your electronic tuner, or you're using a piano to get a note and listen whether it's in tune or not. If it's still way off, then you might need to use the pegs. So like I said, these are quite fragile, and if we move too quickly, it's really easy to snap a string. So always when you're using the pegs, try to keep the movements really small. It's better to do a little bit at a time and kind of gradually get to the note and make sure it's right, rather than doing it too quickly and snapping a string. Just because if we get the string too tight, it might break. So do everything a little tiny bit at a time and gradually get to the right note. So when we're using our pegs at the top of the fiddle, it's really similar to the fine tuners. When we turn the peg away from us, the note gets higher, and when we turn the peg towards us, the note gets lower. So I'm going to tune up my D string because it's a bit too flat, it's a bit too low. I find it helps if you sort of push the fiddle into your tummy. You can do that sitting down if it feels a bit safer. So I'm turning the D peg. You can see when you look at your strings, each one has got its own peg. If I turn the D away from me, and I'll just do it a little bit at a time, gradually getting higher. My notes. So I'm turning it away from me to make the note higher, push in every time you turn, sort of push in towards the violin, and that'll make sure it's sticking. So hopefully your fiddle is now in tune. You can either use the fine tuners. If that's not worked, you can try the tuning pegs at the top and make sure you use a little bit of movement, really gradually turning them away from you to make the note higher, towards you to make the note lower. And just a little bit at a time, nothing too sudden, and that's got them in tune. Make sure you're pushing in to the fiddle, you're pushing the peg into the peg box, not just turning it, and that should help it stick. If you're still having problems, there are lots of resources online from music shops or violin shops or other fiddle players to help you get your fiddle ready to play. It might be that your pegs are still slipping. I know some people use different products on the pegs to make them stick. I've never had to do that to my fiddle, luckily, so I don't want to advise you to do something I've not tried, but I do know that people have used different things to help with that. If you've got any other problems, maybe you're missing a string, there are other resources to help you with that. I would say make sure if you do need to put a string on, you're only doing one at a time. Don't take all your strings off, because that can damage the instrument, so you only ever put one on at a time. I hope you get sorted and you can try the next few videos and get playing.